Have you ever looked at a house with solar panels and wondered, how does this actually work? How does sunlight hitting a panel on a roof turn into electricity that can power your television, your refrigerator, your lights, or even your air conditioner? Most people know that solar panels make electricity, but they don't really understand what happens after that. Where does the electricity go? What does the battery actually do? Why do you need an inverter? And what exactly is happening behind the scenes to power your home? In this video, I'm going to break down solar power in the most simplest way possible. I'm going to use my own home solar system as the example, and we're going to follow the journey of electricity from the moment sunlight hits my solar panels all the way until it powers the appliances inside my home. We're going to look at what the solar panels actually do, what a charge controller does, how a battery stores energy, what an inverter does, and how all these different parts work together as one complete system. And the best part is, you don't need to be an electrician or have any previous solar experience to understand this. By the end of this video, you should have a basic understanding of how a complete solar system works, even if you've never touched a wire or looked inside an electrical panel before. So let's start at the beginning. Let's start with the source of all the energy, the sun. Before we talk about batteries, inverters, and all the other equipment, we have to start with the most important part of the entire system, the solar panel. Because without the solar panels, there is no solar power. So what exactly is happening when sunlight hits a solar panel? Most people think a solar panel is just a piece of glass that somehow creates electricity. But inside every solar panel are many smaller components called solar cells. These solar cells are usually made of materials called silicon. Silicon is a special type of material that can react when sunlight hits it. The sunlight that reaches the earth contains tiny packets of energy called photons. When those photons hit the silicon inside their solar cells, they transfer their energy and cause electrons to move. That movement of electrons is what creates electricity. In simple terms, the sun provides the energy, the silicon inside the solar panels capture that energy, and the movement of electrons creates electrical power. Now, the electricity produced by solar panels is called DC electricity. DC stands for direct current. This is a type of electricity that batteries use. Your solar panels are producing DC electricity, and that electricity starts its journey through your solar system. But there is one important thing to understand. Your solar panels do not directly power your house. The panels are only the beginning of the process. The electricity that they create has to go through other equipment before it can safely run your appliances. Think of your solar panel as a fuel source. Just as a gasoline engine needs more than just gasoline to make a car move, a solar system needs more than just panels to power a home. You need a way to control that electricity. You need a way to store it, and you need a way to convert it into the type of electricity that your house uses. That's where the other part of the system comes in. The next step in our journey is a charge controller. This is the device that manages the electricity coming from your solar panels and make sure your battery is charged properly. So remember this simple concept. The solar panels collect energy from the sun and turns it into DC electricity, but the electricity is not ready to go directly into your houses yet. It has a few more steps to go. Now that we understand how solar panels create electricity, the next question is, what happens to that electricity after it leaves the solar panel? Remember, the solar panels are producing DC electricity, but you can't just connect solar panels directly to a battery and walk away. This is where the charge controller comes in. A charge controller is basically the manager of the electricity coming from your solar panels. Its job is to control how much energy goes into your battery and make sure that the battery is charged safely. Think of it like a traffic cop. Your solar panels are sending electricity down the road, and the battery is where the electricity needs to go. But without someone controlling that traffic, you could have problems. The charge controller regulates that flow and makes sure your battery receives the correct amount of energy. One of the most important things a charge controller does is protect your battery from overcharging. Just like you wouldn't keep filling a water tank after it is already full, you don't want to keep forcing energy into a battery that is already charged. The charge controller controller monitors the battery's voltage and adjusts the charging process. It can reduce the amount of current going into the battery as it gets closer to being full. This helps protect the battery and extends its lifespan. Another important feature of many modern charge controllers is something called MPPT. That stands for Maximum Power Point Tracking. Now that sounds complicated, but the basic idea is simple. The amount of power a solar panel can produce changes constantly depending on how much sunlight is available, the temperature of the panels, and the condition of the system. The MPPT controller constantly searches for the best operating point to get the most energy possible from your solar panels. Basically, it tries to capture as much usable power from your panels as possible. Whether you have a separate charge controller like my Outback FlexMax or a modern system with a built-in MPPT controller, the purpose is the same. Take the electricity coming from the solar panels, control it, and safely delivers it to your battery. So now we have completed the first steps of our journey. The sun creates energy, the solar panel captures the energy and turns it into DC electricity. The charge controller manages that electricity and sends it safely to the battery. But now we have another important question. How do we store that energy so we can use it when the sun goes down? That's where the battery comes in. Now we have reached one of the most important parts of any solar system, the battery. Your solar panels produce electricity when the sun is shining, but what happens when the sun goes down? What happens at night? What happens during cloudy weather when solar production is low? This is where the battery comes in. The battery is the storage system of your solar setup. Think of your solar panels as a source of energy and the battery as a storage tank that holds the energy until you need it. During the day, your solar panels can produce electricity. Some of that energy can power your home immediately, while extra energy can be stored inside the battery for later use. The energy stored in the battery is DC electricity, the same type of electricity produced by your solar panels. One term that often confuses beginners is kilowatt hours. A kilowatt hour is a measurement of how much energy a battery can store. For example, my battery is rated at 10 kilowatt hours. That means, in a simple example, a 1000 watt appliance could theoretically run for about 10 hours because 1 kilowatt times 10 hours equals 10 kilowatt hours. A 500 watt appliance could theoretically run for about 20 hours, and a 2000 watt appliance could theoretically run for about 5 hours. In the real world, actual runtime begins on things like the efficiency of the inverter, the amount of power your appliance uses, battery settings, and how much of the battery capacity you use. But the basic idea is simple. A larger battery stores more energy. A smaller battery stores less. So now that we have three important parts of our solar system, the solar panels creating electricity, the charge controller managing the electricity, and the battery stores that energy. But we still need a way to turn that stored DC electricity into the type of electricity our home uses. That is where the inverter comes in. Now we come to another important part of a solar system, the inverter. To understand what an inverter does, remember solar panels produce DC electricity. Batteries store DC electricity, but most household appliances use AC electricity. Your lights, refrigerator, television, fan, and air conditioner are designed to run on AC power. The inverter's job is to take the DC electricity stored in the battery and convert it into AC electricity that your home can use. This process is called DC to AC conversion. A regular inverter has one main job. It converts DC electricity for a battery into AC electricity for your appliances. In a traditional solar system, you would have separate components working together. Solar panels, a charge controller, a battery, and an inverter. The charge controller manages the electricity coming from the solar panels and charges the battery. The inverter then takes that stored energy and converts it into usable AC power. Each component has its own special job, but modern solar technology introduced another type of inverter called a hybrid inverter. A hybrid inverter combines multiple functions into one unit. It is basically an inverter plus a solar charge controller plus a battery charger plus an energy management system, all combined together. Instead of having a separate equipment controlling each of the system, a hybrid inverter can manage the entire energy flow. During the day, solar panels produce electricity. The hybrid inverter can send power to your home, charge your battery, or manage the flow of energy depending on what your system needs. At nights, the hybrid inverter can take energy stored in the battery and convert it into AC electricity to power your home. Many hybrid inverters can also work with the utility grid, allowing them to manage solar power, battery power and grid power together. This is why hybrid inverters have become so popular. They simplify the system by combining several important functions into one device. For example, my Chin's hybrid inverter includes inverter functions and a built-in MPPT charge controller. So instead of having completely separate equipments doing those jobs, the hybrid inverter can handle multiple functions together. So the complete energy path is: the solar panels create DC electricity, the charge controller manages the charging process, the battery stores the energy, and the inverter converts the stored DC electricity into AC electricity that powers your home. Before we continue, there are a few electrical terms that you will hear often when talking about solar: volts, amps, and watts. These terms help us understand how electricity moves through a solar system. Voltage, measures in volts, is like the pressure pushing electricity through a wire. Amps measures the amount of electrical current flowing through the system. And watts measures the amount of power being used or produced. A simple way to remember this is: volts are the push, amps are the flow, watts tell us how much power is being delivered. These measurements help us understand the size of a solar equipment, how much power a system can handle, and how different components work together. We'll go deeper in volts, amps, watts, and solar system sizing in a future video. A solar system is not just about having solar panels, a battery, and an inverter. All of these components have to be connected properly, and the wires connected to them have to be the correct size. Think of electricity like traffic on a highway. A small wire is like a small road. It can only handle a certain amount of traffic. But if you try to push too much traffic through that road, problems can happen. Electricity works the same way. The more current or amps flowing through a wire, the larger that wire generally needs to be. This is why battery cables are usually much thicker than other wires in a solar system. The battery side can carry very high current, especially when the inverter is powering large appliances. Using wires that are too small can create heat, energy loss, and safety issues. The distance electricity travels also matters because longer cable runs can create energy loss. This is called voltage drop. Proper wire sizing helps make sure more of the energy produced by your solar system reaches where it needs to go. A safer solar installation also requires protection devices like fuses and breakers, which help protect the equipment and wiring if something goes wrong. So remember, the solar panels create the energy, the battery stores the energy, the inverter converts the energy, and the wires are the pathway that safely move the energy through the system. A properly designed solar system is not only about having good equipment, it is about making sure every part works together safely. Now let's put everything together and follow the complete journey of electricity from the sun to the appliances inside a home. Now that we understand all the individual parts of a solar system, let's put everything together. Let's follow the complete journey of electricity from the moment sunlight reaches the solar panels until the energy powers the appliances inside a home. Think of this as the complete path that energy takes through a solar system. Everything begins with the sun. The sun provides the energy that makes the entire system possible. When the sunlight reaches the solar panels, the solar cells inside those panels convert the sunlight into electrical energy. The electricity created by the panels is DC electricity. At this stage, the energy has been created, but it's not ready to power your home yet. It still has a journey to complete. From the solar panels, the DC electricity travels through the solar wiring and reaches the charge controller. The charge controller manages the energy coming from the solar panels and makes sure that the battery receives the correct charging voltage and current. It helps ensure that the battery is charged safely and efficiently. After the charge controller manages the solar energy, the electricity is stored inside the battery. The battery acts as a storage tank of the system. During the day, when the sun is shining, the battery can store extra energy. Then later, when the sun goes down or solar production is low, the stored energy is available to use. The next step is the inverter. The battery stores DC electricity, but our homes use AC electricity. The inverter converts the DC electricity from the battery into AC electricity that household appliances can use. After the inverter converts the electricity, the power travels through your home's electrical system and reaches the appliances inside your home. That energy from the sun can now power things like lights, refrigerators, televisions, fans, computers, and even larger appliances depending on the size of the solar system. So the complete solar journey looks like this: sunlight, solar panels, DC electricity, charge controller, battery storage, inverter, AC electricity, your home appliances. And this is the amazing thing about solar power. A system that looks complicated at first is really just a combination of different parts, and each part has a specific job. The solar panels collect the energy, the charge controller manages the energy, the battery stores the energy, the inverter converts the energy, and your electrical system delivers that energy throughout your home. Once you understand this basic process, solar is no longer a mystery. You can look at the solar installation and understand what each component is doing. But before we finish, there are a few common mistakes beginners should understand before building their own system. Now that we understand how a solar system works, let's quickly look at some common mistakes beginners make when getting into solar. The first mistake is thinking solar panels alone can power a home. Solar panels create energy, but they do not store it. If you want power at night or during periods of low sunlight, you need a battery or another source of backup power. The second mistake is choosing the wrong battery size. A battery is not sized by guessing how many hours you want backup power. It depends on your actual energy usage, the appliance you want to run, and how much stored energy you need. The third mistake is choosing the wrong inverter size. Your inverter must be able to handle the amount of power your appliance requires. A system that is too small can overload, while a properly sized inverter allows your system to operate safely. Another common mistake is ignoring compatibility. Your solar panels, charge controllers, battery, inverter, and wiring all need to work together. Voltage, current, and power ratings all matter. Finally, don't focus only on the cheapest equipment. A solar system is a long-term investment. Quality components, proper design, and correct installation can make the difference between a system that works for years and one that creates problems. The biggest lesson is, solar is not just about buying panels. It is about designing a complete system where every component has a special job. The panel connects the energy, the charge controller manages it, the battery stores it, the inverter converts it, and the wiring safely delivers it. Once you understand how these parts work together, solar becomes much easier to understand. Now let's bring everything together one final time and review the complete journey of solar energy from sun to your home. When we started this video, we asked a simple question: how does sunlight hitting a solar panel eventually becomes electricity that powers a home? Now you understand the answer. A solar system is not one complicated machine. It is a group of different components, and each one has its specific job. The solar panels connect energy from the sun. The charge controller manages that energy. The battery stores it. The inverter converts it to usable power. And your home's electrical system delivers that energy where you need it. But the most important thing to understand is this: solar is not just about buying panels, batteries, and an inverter. It is about understanding how all the pieces work together. When you understand the basics, you can make better decisions. You can choose the right equipment, you can understand what size system you need, and you can avoid many of the mistakes that cause problems for solar owners. Solar power may look complicated when you first see all the equipment, wires, and numbers. But once you understand the purpose of each component, it becomes much easier. It is simply energy from the sun, captured, stored, converted, and used to power your everyday life. That knowledge is what gives you confidence, because the goal is not just to have a solar system. The goal is to understand the system you own. On this channel, we will continue exploring solar power, batteries, inverters, installation tips, and real-world experience from my own setup. We will look at topics like how to size a solar system, how to choose the right battery, how many solar panels you actually need, how to select the correct inverter, and how to design a system that matches your energy needs. The sun has been providing energy for billions of years. Solar technology simply gives us a way to capture that energy and use it in our homes. And once you understand how it works, solar is no longer a mystery. It becomes a tool that you can use to create a more reliable and independent energy future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.